This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Whoa, what's up? Hey, I'm not Adam Barnard, but that is the Blue Meanie right there. It's very blue.
Yes, sir.
And hey, we're not doing a gender reveal. I know Blue's blue and I'm pink right now, but I am just subbing in. I'm tagging in. Pink was my dress choice. Yes, the hot tag. That's right.
The hot tag. Ooh.
Yeah.
Good shit, man.
Tagging on.
Hey, yeah, dude. Welcome. This is awkward, but not.
Yeah, right? Huh?
Familiar, but not.
It's like we seen each other. It's like we saw each other in Philadelphia, and then we randomly met like maybe a couple of weeks later in a Walmart, and then we're trying to come up with small talk after like not a whole lot's happened in between, right? That's kind of
it's like when I run into somebody from my bar in the daytime out of and you're like, oh, this is what you look like in the daylight.
Yeah. Oh, this is you out of your element. What is this?
This is you without fluorescent lighting. Oh, okay.
Well, hey, it's good to be here. It's good to
dude, thank you for I mean it's last second, but
hey,
Adam Bernard's a pussy. And
what a fucking puss.
I'm just kidding. Yeah. He is very ill.
Yes. It'll feel better, Adam.
Yeah. I'm the mental illness. He's the physical illness. But, shout out to Adam. Dude, he's been. Dude, we've both been sick. You know,
You've been sick too.
Dude, we went to Ireland for our honeymoon in September.
Yeah.
And I felt like a little something coming on then, and since like September, our honeymoon, till maybe a week ago, I feel like a normal human being. Wow. It's weird. Like it was like a cough and then like congestion. And then I don't think I had the Rona.
I was going to ask, did you have the Rona? Cause that can really throw you through loops. It took me a while to recover after I got my,
I got the re-jab like right before we left, you know, I got a booster shot, I should say, before we left, because you never know. You know, it's always good to be, cautious. That's why I just walk around all day with, with a condom on, just to be protected, just in case anything happens. You know,
you got to be careful.
I was going to say the joke, and I was like, that joke's not going to land, and I couldn't think of another fucking outcome for that fucking joke. But forgive me.
Sorry.
No, but it's good to be boosted and all that shit, just in case.
Yeah, right. You gotta feel confident in yourself, whether you know if the get booster shot or anything like that. You want to cover your bases or make sure, like, you know, it's the name of the game nowadays. So, but hey,
Adam's Adam's sick. You're kind enough to fill in last second. We're all a part of the One True Sport family here.
That's it. We got to look out for one another and tag each other in when needed and stuff like that. And we got some good stuff cooking on tap for One True Sports. So, and I'm happy that you guys are a part of it. You guys been just a consistent effort, and like Adam's been a steady Eddie with this show too. I think he said on Twitter that it was like since 2020, since he started, this is the first show he's missing. Is that right?
Yeah, this is the first show he's missed. We haven't missed a week.
Wow.
So, since this whole thing started during the lockdown, we've put something out every Monday morning, and it's a sense of pride, when you're doing this for something I wasn't sure. You get in the world of doing a podcast. Yeah, people are always like, me do a podcast of what, so I pondered it for years, and it came down to, I was like, you know what, give it a shot. Gave it a shot. And then, the podcast really got me through the lockdown and stuff like that, just sitting in the house. But then, Adam came along and, took over the reins. And, like I said, he's been here every show for the last, 2 years. So, for him not to be here, he must really be sick.
He must really be down. Yeah, man.
Yeah. For me to miss something due to illness, it must really be bad. Adam's a workhorse. the MVP, and he does a lot of great stuff behind the scenes for the show too. So I'm rooting for him. I hope he feels better. Hopefully he's watching it along. It might be weird for him though, just to be on the sidelines watching. So
we called you a pussy too.
Yeah, nah, that's playful. That was playful.
We're just yanking your putt at him. That's it. But let's we're live. So guys, if you have a question you want to get in for Meanie, be sure to use hashtag Ask Meanie.
We got a lively chat there too.
Yeah, everybody's popping in. We got Maddie in here, who's a regular on One True Sport. Dave Von Boglin, who helps out.
We call Maddie Jazz Cabbage.
Oh, do you? Now how does
he's Maddie, Mr. Marijuana? We call him
Jazz
Maddie
Cabbage.
That's his Mine of the Meanie nickname. So
yeah,
you give everybody names here and there. There's one guy. I don't know what it's his first name, and then the rest is like letters and numbers. I call him. It's Bobby, and then whatever. I say Bobby. I call him Bobby Wi-Fi because his name looks like a Wi-Fi password.
Bobby Wi-Fi.
Yeah, so I just give everybody nicknames. So if I say Maddie Jazz Cabbage and you're trying to figure out who, it's Maddie Mr. Marijuana.
Hey, Dave Von Boglin, you'll like this one. They can't pronounce my name, so I get David Van Halen a lot.
That's not a bad name.
No.
Hey, brownie points with me with Van Halen being my number one, my A1 band of all time. Everybody, like Jim Ross says, every other band is fighting for second place, but Van Halen's my number one band in the world.
Heck yeah.
Who's your favorite band, bro?
Oh, Steely Dan. That's my number one.
Yeah.
Steely Dan's my number one.
Yeah.
And then I was just talking to somebody the other day. Oh, my buddy Jeff. I was talking to him. Doors are definitely in my top 5. The Doors are definitely in my top 5.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who I'd rank behind.
You're an old soul, huh?
Oh, very much so. Yeah. I like all the older.
You're younger than me. How old are you?
I'm 39.
Motherfucker. I'm 51.
See, you don't look at Meanie. You don't look.
Yeah. I aged into my look. Everybody goes, "Oh, you look all right." I was like, "Yeah, I just caught up to my age. Just caught up to my look." So everybody sees me out in the street. I'm like, "This is my Clark Kent look."
That's it, right?
Yeah.
When you got run into the phone booth, you're like, "Do I have my BWO shirt on?"
Yeah, come out in a half shirt and a Daisy dude.
That's it, right?
And people call the cops.
And then it comes to a situation. I don't know.
Yeah, that reminds me of we're doing. Had a run with Jason in ECW, and this is like for my first singles win in ECW, and he challenged somebody to a street fight, and they hit my music. He's like, "This is a street fight. You need to be in street clothes." I go, "These are my street clothes."
Oh, that's great. That's
yes,
great.
Sir.
Heck yeah. Well, we got some fun stuff I wrote down to cover a little bit, but I have a little bit of an exception I need to take. Now, I'm an Eagles. I like the Eagles.
Okay.
The band and your team, your football team. But and I love Jalen Hurts.
Right.
I like who else do I like on there a lot? Well, Brandon Graham. Sorry, he's hurt now for the season.
Yeah, man, that's a bummer.
But I don't like your head coach. I wanted to get your thoughts on Nick Sirianni.
Everybody who's on another team hates him, but if they had him, they'd love him.
Oh, okay. Well, my buddy Colin, who lives in he's originally from Audubon, New Jersey, but now he's in Somerville.
Okay.
He is obviously a huge Eagles fan too. And so anytime we go into my buddy's group chat, I rip on Sirianni and he will always defend him. So
oh yeah. I mean, he's an asshole, but he's my asshole.
He's my asshole.
That's my asshole, sir. How dare you talk about my asshole like that in public?
Oh my God.
On Al Gore's internet.
That's right.
Yeah.
Don't you do it.
No, Sirianni. Hey, look. You know what? Fuck it. It was I'm gonna make this comparison.
Okay.
Sirianni's coming out party was kind of like Gritty's coming out party. Like when Gritty, for those who don't know, in other countries we have hockey, Philadelphia Flyers, their mascot's this big orange thing called Gritty. So when he debuted, everybody in Philly went, "What the hell is that?"
Everybody did too.
And then when people in other cities went, "What the hell is that?" Everybody in Philly went, "Hey, you leave him alone. He's ours."
It's true. You know
Yes.
what though? Gritty though has this. He's got like this. He's almost like the bastard child of Grimace and stuff like that. When it comes to like and he's got the Muppet kind of vibe, Fraggle Rock almost. He's bringing all that in, and it's like he's got a bit of charisma to him. I think that a lot of mascots don't have.
But it's funny you bring up Muppet, but the Philly Fanatic is an official Jim Henson creation.
What? Really?
Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah, back like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago, they tried to switch up his look because they were having a little tussle over the trademark with the Henson Group.
Oh.
But I think they eventually just went and paid whatever it was just to own it outright. So, but yeah, getting back to Gritty and Sirianni. Like Sirianni, debuted, in the lockdown or whatever. And he had that introductory press conference, which was a disaster. But I dare anyone to go into a room where there's no people just in front of a camera and do a speech. And he like, dude, I got, I listen to sports radio all the time, and the player said, Sirianni would use that speech, to talk about things he could have done right. He's like, if I can point out my flaws, blah blah blah. But Sirianni, like, it wasn't until like maybe his second year he came out with the speech about flowers and planting roots and all this stuff.
Well, I remember that one.
Yeah, people like somebody threw flowers at him, but they went on some tear. They went on like this winning streak, and this year they were like 2-2, and then Sirianni went and shaved his head, like full metal jacket,
full Sinead O'Connor.
Yeah, and they went on a 7-game winning streak. So they got a tough game this weekend with Baltimore. It's going to be interesting. I'm like one of those guys. I'm all in on all Philly sports, but like I'll like secondary teams because of my wrestling career.
Yeah,
there's certain cities where they're like instrumental to my early days. So like I like Detroit.
Yeah,
because I wrestled in Detroit a lot. For Sabu.
Yeah.
I wrestled in Pittsburgh a lot for Norm Connors. Steel City, that's where you're at.
Yep.
Another town I went to, Baltimore. For it was MEWF at the time. Dennis Whipwreck got working down there. So, I like the Baltimore Ravens. When the Eagles aren't play, as long as it doesn't affect my Eagles, I'll root for the Baltimore Ravens to do well.
Yeah,
for this Sunday, but it's going to be a hell of a game.
It should be a really entertaining one. I think. I think the Eagles will have a little bit of motivation after losing Brandon Graham, like somebody like that. Though somebody next man up kind of deal.
Yeah.
And but and you can kind of get Lamar Jackson a little rattled. Like I mean, he hasn't shown up in the playoffs.
Right.
And then you look at I think a lot of the times when they play the Steelers, he looks at the Steelers almost as a playoff game, Lamar Jackson, because it's like he's their white whale. He's his white whale. The Steelers are his white whale almost. And it's like, how do you find footing on that? So
has he not beaten the Raiders? I mean, the Steelers?
His record's not good against them.
Really?
I know it's like, I think the Steelers are like 11-1 against them or something. No, maybe that's too many. That's too many games, I think.
But yeah. Well, going to this game, the Eagles have never won in Baltimore.
Really?
Yeah, they've never won. They've tackled a couple things. Like I swear to God, for the life of me, I haven't seen the Eagles win in New Orleans since 1993. Since the 93 playoffs, and then they win in New Orleans this year.
Yeah.
Now they're kind of like doing things they hadn't normally done before. So now they go into Baltimore. Hopefully they have a chance to win. That would be good. I mean, I just need like if all these other NFC North teams could lose because they're like neck and neck with the Eagles, that would be nice. Seeing the Bears choke away a chance to beat Detroit yesterday.
And then Eberflus is gone. You see that?
Oh, they got rid of him.
He's gone. They fired him.
I was I was on my couch going, call a timeout. Call a timeout. A 12-year-old man would have called a timeout by now.
Right?
30 seconds. He
Awful.
was one pass away from the guy running off. Yeah, one drop pass away from winning the game.
That was it.
Yeah, but good Lord, Detroit looks scary, but maybe they're losing a lot of guys on defense.
They are. They lost another guy and he's out for the season. I can't remember his name, but
yeah, I mean, it seemed like there's a couple plays in a row where guys were just down, and then like the Chiefs lost a lot of guys. The Chiefs almost lost to the Raiders.
Yeah, right. And they were a 13-point favorite. They were minus 13 against the Raiders.
They were, dude. And if you go on Twitter right now, the term "rigged" is
trending. I believe it.
So, like before the ball was the Chiefs Raiders game that just ended, like maybe an hour or so ago. The Raiders had the ball. They're marching down. They're if they're trying to get in the field goal range to at least take the lead and win.
Yeah.
Before the ball snapped, they throw a flag and the referee's coming in signaling false start, which means play's over.
Play's
right?
over. Yeah.
But they snap the ball. The guy from the Raiders, bumble fucks it, and then somebody from the Chiefs jumps on it, and then somehow they changed the penalty, and then so the whole world is like, yeah, this is rigged. Just the term rigged. Kelsey and worst 11-1 is trending right now on Twitter. I still call it Twitter, by the way. So
yeah, I do too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll sometimes say X just to mix it up a little bit, but it's Twitter to me.
Yeah. Blue Sky's catching on with me a little bit.
I've barely dabbled in it. You were the first friend I made on Blue Sky, I think.
Nice.
Yes, you're the first friend.
I find myself I have a social media folder on my phone. Like I break down my phone, my apps into segments. Social media, entertainment, utilities, whatever. And every time I open the social media app, I'm always clicking on Blue Sky because it reminds me of the old Twitter, the blue and white combo.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, that is Jack Dorsey too. It's the former owner of Twitter that's running that thing.
Really?
Yeah. So it's
hopefully more people get behind it.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. It's like social media. It's a fickle business, man.
Not very social, on social media.
On social media, we had some pretty good gritty comments here by Don Moses. I want to make note of these. So
that's my boy.
Gritty looks like he'll rob you in the parking lot for meth money.
Yeah.
And then he also said, Gritty looks like Grimace and Jacob Voracek had a baby. That's pretty accurate.
That's my boy Donnie Mo.
That's good shit.
Yeah.
Good shit right there.
Yes, sir.
We got a couple super chats.
Thank you.
Yes.
I wish I had a sound. I need to get some sound effects for these different levels.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I know. I need to do that with Rob too. RVD. It's like the plan was to always get like sound effects and stuff like that, and I just haven't implemented them yet. But he said Maddie just added Adam out hunting for Meanie's undies. Get well.
Yeah. Last week we had a conversation about how I once crapped myself in a ring, and then I promptly went out on and threw him on the roof, and
like Breaking Bad, but not pizza.
Yeah. Well, I might have ate pizza that day, so there might have been pizza in there. But yeah. So, and then I also went on Google Earth to see if they're still on there. It's in Inkster, Michigan, at the rec center. I went out the side door. Like if you're looking on fucking Google Earth, little side door on the right. I went out and did the Kareem Abdul-Jabbar
skyhook.
Skyhooked them on the roof. But I was messing around. I was like, thinking about, if somebody does like a real good donation, I'll do this one. Hold on.
The Blue Meanie.
There we go.
There we go. I like it. You guys get a good donation. And how about we make it, if somebody donates $10 with the super chat, we'll do
I have to get I have to get like a bunch of different sound effects of different announcers saying my name excitingly. And that was Vince.
Vince.
When he was ECW champion.
Oh, that's
and he said he was going to have a street fight. Instead of facing Bobby Lashley, he's going to have a street fight with an ECW original, the Blue Meanie.
The Blue Meanie.
And this is on like Monday Night Raw, and I'm sitting in my living room going, "What?
Hey, what now?"
yeah. But I found that audio and just put it on the board.
Well, hey, so
I got to trim it up a little bit, make it a little bit.
Tighten it up a little. We'll be
a
good
little snip.
Yeah. But so last week when I was recording with RVD, he mentioned how he really liked the initial version of WWE's ECW and like on Sci-Fi, and how it kind of incorporated some newer guys like Bob Holly and stuff like that, and he liked how it was kind of developing. And then Vince ended up going, well, we're just going to have one extreme match, and that's going to be the only match. It kind of changed the whole game, and Rob played out his case for it, but he was like, I got to protect my referees and stuff like that. Blue Meanie, I wanted to get your thoughts about the initial version of that, of how they implemented WWE and what they could have done to kind of cultivate that and keep that brand identity going and maybe make it something very unique that wasn't happening, that they ended up not doing.
Well, I always say, like, right before the real ECW closed down, the original version closed down, ECW was kind of steering off into a different direction a little bit. Yeah. Like, they still had some of the violent matches, stuff like that, but I think the original ECW kind of would have went the way of what Ring of Honor eventually became. With Gabe Sapolsky worked in ECW. He was a protege of Paul Heyman. I think if ECW had continued, it kind of would have been a little bit what Gabe did with Ring of Honor. ECW, I think ECW realized they kind of had to tone certain things down and to get the ad revenue and stuff like that. But Flash, that didn't happen. ECW closed down. They bring back ECW. And, well, of course, they had the, one night stand.
Yep.
Second one night stand. Then they bring back, and if they ended it after the second one night stand, that would have been perfect too.
Sure, yeah.
But, whatchamacallit? I go back to that first episode of ECW on Sci-Fi, which I hated the fact that there was wrestling on Sci-Fi because people are already going, see, I told you it was fake.
It was fake. Where's the Star Trek people?
Yeah. It's funny you say that. I heard from somebody who worked that first WW ECW show that, you remember the zombie?
Oh, yeah.
And my thoughts go out to him because I met the ECW zombie on the Indies afterwards, and he went up to every ECW original and would apologize for doing the zombie gimmick. I was like, bro, it's a payday. Don't apologize to me. Right? It was a spot. Dude, you're talking to a guy who wore a half shirt and Daisy Dukes. Dude, don't worry about it. But the original plan was for an alien to come out, and Sandman Kane an alien. And allegedly, somebody at Sci-Fi said, well, he can't cane an alien because an alien would have a laser beam, right? And that's what I heard. Of
course.
Yeah. That somebody who I talked to who was working that show said, that was the initial, well, you can't have, Sandman Kane an alien. But I watched that show and it was kind of like, it's like the movie Wayne's World where Noah's Arcade bought the show for $5,000. We got $5,000. They bought the show, and then they go to the first TV taping of Wayne's World under the ownership of Noah's Arcade, and Garth goes, "This is Wayne's basement, but this isn't Wayne's basement." I was like, "Well, this is ECW, but it's not ECW, you know." And to get back to my point of how I thought ECW was going a different direction before they closed. This is the chance for WWE ECW to kind of do that thing where they can have ECW, but use it as like what they do with NXT now. This could have been their NXT before NXT, because I watched those early NXT shows when the network first came around. I know they had shows before that too, but that was whatever.
Like FCW, that's when they were like kind of transitioning into that.
Yeah, I think some of the NXT shows were on Hulu before the network or whatever.
You're exactly right, and that's how I watched them. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But those early NXT shows with that crowd and that atmosphere felt like ECW.
Oh yeah.
But I watched it. I think they had a good opportunity to bring up younger talent and stuff like that. But for whatever reason, it just didn't work. Calling it ECW, just didn't work. If I'm going to use a musical analogy, I love Van Halen, and they got lucky the second time with Sammy.
Mm-hmm.
They went to the well the third time with Gary. And while I like that album with Gary, they should have just called it something else at that point.
Yeah.
Just don't call Van Halen. My favorite Motley Crue record is the album they did without Vince Neil with John Corabi. It's just like, I think more people would have loved that album if they didn't call it Motley Crue.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an amazing record. If you have any kind of streaming service, go out and find the Motley Crue record called Motley Crue, ironically enough, with John Corabi. Perfect album. It just didn't pick up because people are so used to the Vince Neil sounds. But
right
back to the ECW, they probably should just ended after the first or second one night stand and just done it that way. But
that's the thing. It's like, Rob made a good point too, how he was like, it would have been cool if they almost did it almost like a settling ground, like even for SmackDown or Raw, like say I think he used the example like a Matt Hardy and somebody else, say if they're having a beef with somebody and be like, well, you know what, we're gonna settle this down in ECW, and it's almost like this other kind of, oh my God, they're going to ECW, and that's where the score is going to get settled, is down there. They're going hardcore for that. And I loved it. I love the identity of like, man, you do have Bob Holly. He mixes perfect in an ECW vibe, and it kind of incorporates that. And then you also thought Big Show was like, all right, he's kind of more WWE. All right, I can kind of see it. But Kurt Angle was a perfect guy for that too, just to that intense, the mouth guard stuff.
That was a full circle moment, kind of.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was there the night he stormed out with the. Well, I was part of the reason why he stormed out too, with the crucifixion angle. I helped raise the cross. So.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And then I was in the back. When he was fucking storming around, I was like, ah, shit.
Uh-oh.
But yeah, Kurt would have been perfect. He was perfect in that scenario.
Yeah.
They ran one show at DCW Arena with the new ECW, and the main event was Rob Van Dam versus Kurt Angle. And WWE has that new Vault channel.
Yeah.
They recorded that entire show.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, it was like a one camera shot, but they should put that up there on the net. That was a great match. That was such a good Van Dam versus Angle in the ECW Arena. It was amazing.
Man, I'll have to bring that up to Rob on the show when we.
Well, he's got more pull than I do, so he could probably contact somebody at WWE and say, "Hey, can you put that match on the Vault channel?"
Yeah, right. Toss it on up there, huh?
Yeah.
I would not be against that. Another thing I wanted to talk about. Paul Heyman just did an interview with Shaq, not Shaquille O'Neal, but the Shaq from CBS Sports.
Oh, okay.
Yes, who I met. He's a very nice guy. So,
awesome.
But I guess he was asked. Paul was asked about potentially future Paul Heyman guys, and he gave a little bit of a list. I want to get your opinion on who you think would be a great up and coming Paul Heyman guy. But here's the list that Paul Heyman said. It's a few names that said: Gunther, Damian Priest, Braun Breaker, Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, and others are remarkable talents. This roster is the deepest and most talented in the history of the industry. Any of those names really stand out to you? If you had to pick like one or two new Paul Heyman guys,
I mean,
who would it be?
I think Gunther could be like the new Brock, just you just look at him. He looks like he should be wrestling Lou Thez at Comiskey Park.
100%.
Yeah. All his matches should be in black and white, But yeah. Oh my God. So there was Gunther, Rhea Ripley,
Gunther,
my boy
Braun,
Damian Priest.
Yep, Braun Breaker. Let me pull it up again real quick. It's on my other window. Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley. Okay, so we named them all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if I can top that. That's perfect.
I
could definitely see Gunther though, man. Paul was always good with being the mouthpiece of like guys who were on the up. He gave so much credibility to people. Brock first came to WWE.
Yeah.
I mean, where would have Brock been without Paul? Paul was the mouthpiece, and that was the secret to having managers. You give a guy who's like incredibly talented in the ring, might not be able to cut a promo, but you give him a manager who can cut a promo, like when superstar Billy Graham, he didn't need a manager, but they gave him the Grand Wizard. He's like, why are you giving me a manager? I can talk,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Paul was the perfect thing for Brock and telling the story, but who else would be a good well, there's a couple of Paul Heyman gals on that list, but definitely Braun Breaker.
Yeah, and they tease that immediately. Yeah. I think they could wait on that for a long time though, almost, to be honest, because it's just like you don't want to have that too much of a connotation with Brock. You want Braun to be his own kind of man, and Braun obviously not as big as Brock, but I mean, like he's got that. They're building him up to be like that.
He's explosive,
right? He's got that explosibility, and
like he can be up on you before you even have a chance to blink. Yeah, and that's what was scary about Brock. Brock was big, but he can just snatch you up, grip you up.
Right.
There's nothing you could do.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you do? What's the joke? What do you do if a pit bull humps your leg? Let him finish.
That's it.
know.
Yeah.
Braun Breaker. He's a guy he's going to have his way if in a fight. He's going to be on you in the blink of an eye and have you tied up like a pretzel, just like Brock. But like you said, don't break that glass just yet. Break the glass in case of emergency. Don't do that yet. Let Braun build up his attaché case in WWE, and maybe in like 4 or 5 years, he could probably go that route.
I think he'd be good antithesis to Paul Heyman. Like if Paul Heyman has another Paul Heyman guy, and then you have Braun on the opposite side of the thing, and it's like that's who you bid him up against. We kind of throw a little bit of a curveball.
Because I can see, Braun Breaker. I can see him going face.
Sure,
Gunther, I see as a perpetual heel.
Yeah, right.
But dude, the Braun and Gunther feud would be really good, really good. There'll be so many. Just the sounds of the chops alone.
My God,
Gunther will chop you on your chest, and the print will show up on your back.
That's it. Yeah. It'll be like a fossil. Matt Sandy makes a good point. He says CM Punk didn't need Paul Heyman, but it worked. I felt like that. Them together was like Bockwinkel and Heenan in a way. It's like Bockwinkel didn't need a Heenan, but it certainly enhanced all that together.
Dude, perfect analogy. Nobody really talks about Nick Bockwinkel, and they should.
Yeah.
And they should. They should study him. Somebody should make it a point to be the next Nick Bockwinkel. But
Yeah.
Bockwinkel and Heenan were tremendous. Yeah,
Mhm.
because they're both the rich guys, and But yeah, that's a perfect analogy on Matt Sandy's part. Punk didn't really need him, but it worked.
100% it did. And I think I would love to see your boy Damian Priest with him actually at some point. Like, because it's like,
Yeah.
I think Damian's, I said this to,
Couple New Yorkers,
right, couple New Yorkers. I think
Couple New Yorkers.
hey, but I think with what he did with, I don't know if you saw Raw this past week before the tease in with Gunther and him, Damian Priest, just he's got that Scott Hall cool factor. You know what it is? And it's just like, as a
Scott Hall's a
baby,
huge influence on him. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And it's just, I think they're finding their niche with Damian Priest, I think. But you could very easily have him turn heel and join with Paul Heyman at some point, and then you get a whole complete new dynamic with Damian Priest. I think something like that would work too.
Yeah, Scott Hall was definitely a huge influence on Damian, to the fact to where like some of his early ring gear was modeled after NWO Scott Hall with the drippy letters,
drippy blood, yeah, all that stuff.
This walk through the ladder, for the ladder match,
Yeah.
But yeah, I could definitely. I think Damian makes a great heel, and he would definitely be great with Paul.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean, Paul would be great. He can enhance anybody and stuff like that, I think. So.
Well, the proverbial, Paul could manage a broomstick, get heat on a broomstick,
and I don't think they really gave the whole thing, and maybe it was just the situation that the identity that WWE had at the time. But like, I would have loved to see them work a little bit more with Curtis Axel and see what they could have got out of him with Paul Heyman. You know what I mean? It just seemed like a missed opportunity with that, and with Cesaro in tandem with that too. Because later on, he made Cesaro for like a cup of coffee, but that was it.
A cup of coffee.
Ooh, rises to the top. Ooh, I got that too.
Yeah, mine's as black as my soul, though. I take a sip of cold brew. I want to punch daylight.
That's it. So you're dunking straight up. Is that what you usually go with?
I'll if I feel a little flighty, I'll do the Starbucks. The joke about Starbucks being across from another Starbucks. That's kind of the case here in South Philly, but one's in the Target, one's in the Acme, as we say in South Philly. But I try to save Starbucks for the road. Like we're going somewhere, so yeah, I don't know. I'm weird. I save certain things for like road trips.
Yeah.
And
Dunkin's a little bit more accessible in Philly, I find. There's a lot more Dunkins than there are Starbucks, but there's still a lot of Starbucks.
Yeah. And there's levels to the different Dunkins, Dude, I get the cold brew at the one. There's three within walking distance of me. One I order a cold brew. I swear they're giving me regular coffee. Fuck these people. So I go this one I go to. They just remodeled the Dunkin' on Oregon Avenue. And brother, I take a sip of that, and I'm just punching daylight, tasting colors, and just Jesus Christ.
Oh, yeah.
First sip, and I'm running to the bathroom.
It hits you, huh?
Oh yeah, unleash a dragon tail and just let it. I can watch it go down like the Titanic.
Oh my god!
That Rob Van Dam doesn't talk about taking poops.
No, once in a while he mentioned something once, but that's it. He's very
Rob's great.
He's awesome.
He is.
A lot of fun. Let me see what else I wanted to touch upon real quick before we go to the Ask Meanie aspect.
This has been pretty good so far, man. We're 40 minutes in.
Yeah. Yeah.
A little hot tag action.
Yeah. Right. Hey.
HTA hot tag action.
HTA. I like it. HTA hot tag action. Did you know 25 years ago today, Meanie?
I probably do, and I've probably forgot.
Was when Stephanie McMahon, it was revealed that Triple H married her and ruined the wedding between her and Test.
Ruined
it.
Here I am with fucking anniversaries, right?
Yeah.
Especially my own.
Uh-huh.
Like might have been last week or the week before, I finally remembered that we were doing an episode. We were recording an episode on the day the BWO debuted,
Really?
November to Remember 96. Not realizing the episode was actually dropping on the 30th anniversary of the Blue Meanie's debut, November to Remember 95. So
Wow.
Perfect opportunity to talk about fucking content and stuff like that. I was like, I'm so happy I remember the ones, I forgot the other, and we could just done both in the same episode. But
Yeah.
25 years ago, with the drive-through wedding.
The drive-through wedding.
Dude, man, Test was such a good dude.
Right?
Everybody in that angle, good people. I love Triple H was always great to me. Stephanie's awesome. But let people know about Test. Test was such a great guy, man. Sweetheart of a guy. Soft-spoken, Canadian, well, polite, because he's Canadian. I got to work with him, one time, and it was the coolest thing. Dude, think about this. It was an 8-man tag.
Mm-hmm.
On one side, it was Test, Mass Superstar, Doink, and one other. I'm dropping a ball on. But on my side, it was me, Dr. Tom, D'Lo Brown, and Dusty Rhodes.
What?
In an 8-man tag, and it was the coolest match I've ever been a part of that I've never been able to watch because it was recorded, but something happened to, for whatever reason, they can't release it. But working with Test in that match, and then I saw him later in Philly. He was doing an indie show in Philly, and I ran into, he was doing a convention that day at the, so I was, hey man, what's up, blah, 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 blah. And, a friend of mine who was with him, who I'm blanking on because this, story happened so long ago. He was like, yeah, man, last time you saw Test was like, man, I should just, have the promoter book Meanie so I can work him tonight, have a good match. And I was like, oh, well, that's kind of a cool compliment,
Yeah, heck yeah.
Like, he thought of me that well that he was willing to, get me booked just to, to work with me. But that, it was a shame when he passed away, and he's just, he's had some really good match. The match with him and Shane was fantastic.
Yeah.
He was a good worker. It's just, I wish more people would, go back, tonight, go back and watch some Test matches,
Yeah. Rob said too, because he brought him up. That's how we led into the WCW thing. He was talking about his relationship with Test, and he believed that he could have potential to be a future world champ. Like if they stuck around and he stayed alive, and everything got on the right track with him. And he did. He had that great look, like almost like the next coming of Kevin Nash in certain ways, but just good physical presence stuff.
Yeah, he was agile. Like there was a moment he went away, but he came back and he had the short, spiky hair.
Yeah,
and he was just mowing through people, and you're like, holy shit, this is good stuff.
Yeah,
and I don't know the reasons for why he got let go the second time, but he had so much promise and so much potential that he had the look, he had charisma, and he could go for a big guy. And it's a shame. It's heartbreaking.
Yeah, right, man. It is really heartbreaking. I love Test. He had the best action figures. I'll say that too. As a wrestler, they made some good action figures in him.
Awesome.
So go on eBay, check them out. All right. Hey, Meanie, are you ready for a little Ask Meanie?
I would love to.
Let's hit it.
It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
That's great.
A real Meanie fart, by the way.
Was it really? You just put it up to the that's
dude. Little full disclosure.
Uh-oh.
There was a moment where I paused, like a couple minutes ago. I was like, I got one in the chamber, but I don't want to know. I don't want to blow Dom out in his first hot tag action. Just my problem is I always fart into the mic and then I sit down into my own cloud and almost take myself out on live TV. You know,
You don't want to. Yeah.
brother.
You don't want to get Richard Belzer on here.
Yeah, you're doing me a favor. I don't want to, shit in the mic while you're on.
Yeah. Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Out of respect for you, I won't shit into my own mic.
Oh, that's so nice.
Yeah.
Hey, here's a nice question. Speaking of football, David Von Boeglen, $5. How about my Lions, boys? I'm 46, and this is my first year as a Lions fan, and I'm hopeful we'll see a Super Bowl. Who do you guys think? Oh, who are you guys gonna see in the Super Bowl? You got to make a pick? Me.
Hold on, bring that back up.
Okay.
How about my Lions, boys? I'm 46, and this is my first year as a Lions fan. Did he just pick them this year?
Yeah, how'd that happen, Dave? Or I thought,
how are you? 46?
Or did you misword that? Yeah.
Yeah, let's give you a reason to,
Mm-hmm.
redeem yourself. But you're saying you're 46, and now you're choosing the Lions to be your.
Hopeful we'll see a Super Bowl. This is my first. Yeah, explain yourself a little bit, Dave.
Yeah,
I know you're from Detroit area.
Yeah, are you cherry picking your favorite? Oh, or is this the first time you can come out as a fan publicly and say you're proud to be a fan? Which I still have questions about. But
is it your first year as a proud Lions fan?
Yeah, is that it? My predict. Well, I would love to see my Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl, so I'll go with the NFC Eagles.
Take yourself out of it. Take yourself out of it, Blue Meanie.
If I had to take myself,
take your fandom out of it. Who you going with? It could still be the Eagles.
Eagles, Bills.
Okay,
that's what.
That'd be a fun one. That would be a fun.
I don't think the planet can handle those two fan bases in the same.
Could you imagine that?
They're jumping through tables we're lighting on fire. So
yes.
just
you're climbing up the telephone poles that have Crisco on them.
That's another city I love because of my wrestling career. Like I was talking about earlier, there's cities I have a fondness for because of my wrestling career. And Buffalo was always a good city for ECW.
Oh, yeah. I love Buffalo. We, as kids, we'd go Christmas shopping up in Buffalo. We wouldn't go to Pittsburgh. We'd go to Buffalo, or we'd go to Erie.
Yeah, Buffalo's the Burt Flickenser Center was so hot for ECW. That crowd was ravenous.
Man,
they were up for anything. It was like, it was like ECW Arena North almost.
And now they're going through tables. You guys set the precedent for them.
I would recommend against the plastic tables.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I always thought that was an odd choice of them.
Those are very unforgiving.
Yeah. I think I saw somebody else was going through tables, another fan base, and they gimmicked them. I saw they gimmicked the plastic tables.
I know that was it the CBS pregame show or whatever. They were up in Buffalo going through tables, and you could tell those tables were gimmicked.
Yeah.
Did
a Bills fan ever set one on fire and go through it?
Hold on. I think David
did he explain himself
in the chat there?
Oh, okay.
David Van Halen.
Now, after 40 years of suffering as a Lions fan, I look like a bit. First year that I'm hopeful they'll see a Super Bowl.
Okay. You redeemed yourself.
Here we go.
You're off the hook.
Yeah. I was going to say, David. I was like, yeah, I know you're from the area. And I was like, you just hopped on right then?
Sound like a Cowboys fan, just... I know people, I'm a Cowboys fan, but I'm also a Lakers and Yankees fan too.
Did you ever see the Homer Simpson meme where he obviously going into the bushes? There's the one where he's like a Cowboys fan and he comes out like a Yankees or a Los Angeles.
I think they like that Yankees Dodgers series must have been tough on Cowboys fans. Who do I root for?
What do I do here? Yeah. Did you know, fun fact, Meanie, I was originally a Cowboys fan. Did I tell you that?
Why?
Emmitt Smith. I was a big Emmitt Smith guy. And
you're 31, yeah.
And I was a Yankees fan too. But I still like the Yankees, and I enjoy the Cowboys, but I ended up converting to a Cardinals fan for baseball because of Tino Martinez because of the Yankees. And then obviously Pirates. I like the Pirates because of Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And then obviously just the Jets. My dad was a Joe Namath fan. They got the old jerseys back. Vinny Testaverde was playing for him. I stole my heart. So there.
Yeah, 90 kids who grew up in the 90s, like when I was like in high school, you're either a front runner Cowboys fan or a front runner San Fran fan.
Yeah, right, because of Joe Montana and stuff.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's just started off, late 80s San Fran, with the starter jackets, and then it morphed into Cowboys fans.
Yeah.
With the starter jackets, but I never understood that, man. You live in a city where you have a sports team, because people are going to I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah.
People are going to shit on the fan base anyway, or just shit on people from Philadelphia in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if you like the Cowboys fan; they still think you're an idiot because you're from Philadelphia. So you might as well root for the Eagles, right? So
that's it.
All our stereotypes,
It was fun to when I lived in Philly. I always liked to watch the Eagles and stuff like that. The only one I couldn't get behind were the Flyers, but that was it.
I'm a 4 for 4. I love all the teams, but some teams just make it hard.
Yeah.
I'm totally out in the Sixers.
Oh gosh. Is it because of the way that the load management and how that team kind of handles themselves?
Yeah, it's just imagine you're a fan buying a ticket to go to a game and they're purposely keeping one of their big stars.
Yeah.
I don't think it's card subject to change in basketball, just
right.
Just it's weird, just I don't like it. Give me the 90s basketball where guys are just beating the shit out of each other.
Right, I want fucking Bill Laimbeer and Larry Bird going at it.
Say what you want about Michael Jordan, but he got the shit beat out of him.
Yeah, right.
But Detroit fucking mugged him every single time he went in the fucking paint.
Yeah.
I love that era. Fucking. One of my favorite photos is Dr. J and Larry Bird grabbing each other by the fucking neck.
Yeah.
Love that. Now it's just does anybody play defense?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I want Charles Barkley throwing a fan through glass. That's what I want to see again.
Oh, that was off the court though. That was great.
I know, right? That's it. Yeah.
That was terrible.
Terrible.
That's
Man,
terrible.
you could not beat that. That era of sports was just so awesome overall.
Yeah.
Baseball was really hot, obviously football, but basketball was really, really good too at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We grew up in a good era.
We did.
I mean, look, the athletes today are amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Seeing guys doing one-handed catches regularly and shit like that, but god damn, it was a lot rougher back then. You could kill a quarterback and you would really have to do a lot to get a flag thrown on you for tackling a quarterback.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, it'd just be ruthless. And then the quarterbacks they'd just tough it out and they'd have to go through it. It's just part of the game.
Yeah, just get a spatula, throw the next guy in.
The next guy in.
Yeah.
Oh man. We do have a couple more Ask Meanies. I know Coach Rosie asked one. Let's see if I can find where he said. It's a good one too. Let me see. I might have to paraphrase if I can't find it, Coach. But oh no, I got it here. Ask Meanie. What do you think of everyone running Hammerstein Ballroom? It even caused a GCW/AEW beef. Yeah, did that catch on your radar there, Meanie?
I
can give you context if you want.
There seems to be this underlying feud between GCW and AEW.
Yeah, right?
Low level. They're not saying anything out in public.
Mm-hmm.
But to me it started when AEW kind of started paying Moxley not to do GCW shows and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And there's a period where Moxley was on AEW wearing GCW hoodies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Coming through the crowd and it seemed like once that they paid him, it seems like there's been this low level heat between AEW and GCW to the factor where they're running AEW was just doing their show here in Newark.
Mm-hmm.
And GCW is running a show right down the street, Yeah. So it's low level fucking heat there. And it's everybody running the Hammerstein Ballroom. I mean, good luck. I mean, more power to you. But it reminds me back in the day when there was like this silly Philly Indie Wars. Me and Todd Gorder were doing 3PW, and then there's Ring of Honor and CZW, and we're all like fighting, doing shows head to head with each other, and it's like you're making the fans divided and making the fans choose, and it's just like anything, like if you're a guy and you make your girlfriend choose between you and a friend or whatever, they're going to choose the friend, so this is like,
Yeah.
there's no winners in it. But and then eventually we figured out, in retrospect, we all talk about it now, we're like, how fucking dumb were we? But it seems like there's this little underlying feud with GCW and AEW. It'll be interesting to see how they do in the Hammerstein. I love the Hammerstein ballroom because it reminds me of AC/DC's Thunderstruck video. When they're all standing there going thunder, and the fans are. It's like in the theater setting, and the band's below them and stuff like that. It's a perfect setting for wrestling, but it'll be interesting to see what they do. I'm sure there's ways to track ticket sales and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And it's like GCW's been making a trend of going to the Hammerstein, I think, on a yearly basis, at least, I think, for the past
This will be like their second one, but they were like the first. They were, between them and AEW, they had first dibs.
Sure, yeah,
of running that building.
Would that seem like back in the day? Would that seem like, what's the term I'm looking for? Like dirty ball almost, where it's just like, hey, come on, like, or is that? That's just the name of the business, I would think. It's like, okay,
who had the building first?
GCW.
And then AEW announced
it. Then AEW made an announcement later on.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a shot at, in my opinion, it's kind of like trying to take away from GCW's plate.
Yeah. And that's what Effie said, too, in the interview. Like, basically.
Really?
Okay. And that's what kind of dug up. And you hear all the stuff with Ricky Starks and stuff. He shows up.
He showed up. Like I said, GCW was running like 20 minutes up the road.
Yeah.
And Ricky Starks shows up for GCW. I'm like, oh, I guess he must be done with AEW. But now he's still with AEW.
Yeah, I think they were letting him work the date. And then, so this is what was said. I had this on the notes too.
Please.
Ricky Starks, GCW. So Fightful reported that AEW's decision to pull Starks was in part due to comments Effie made about Tony Khan and Shad Khan on his podcast. Now, Effie ended up saying that, kind of took a dig at Tony in a way, saying that he's going off his dad's money and stuff like that, and said something like that during an interview. And so this is what Dave Meltzer ended up writing in the Observer, was while nobody officially said anything, the strong belief actually confirmed to us is that it was the comments from Effie of GCW on Tony Khan, particular line where he said about Khan's father paying Tony to stay away from NFL decision making, I think is what he said. And then he led to Khan feeling he didn't want to do business with GCW. So that's what Meltzer wrote in the newsletter. So a little bit more of like taking shots of Tony outside of the wrestling realm of things, it seems like. And then
understandable, but that in my gut, in my ample gut, that's been the feeling for a while now. There's been like this low line tension between the two. Just they haven't. Maybe the Effie thing was the first public acknowledgement of it, but.
So there's kind of like that. I like you love to see that kind of in certain ways when it comes to the competitive nature of things. But it's also like, man, you mentioned it too. It's just like if you look back on it from years ago, I was like, yeah, that's kind of dumb to be all like beefed up about. And like, imagine the business they could do if they actually worked together and like,
I mean, like Tony's got a lot on his plate. He's got GCW. He's got Ring of Honor. If he can have his guys go to GCW just to stay, in ring shape.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I don't have anything for you for a month or two. Go work for GCW, stay in ring shape, come back. Kind of like, when Vince would send somebody down to ECW, send Draws down to us, send Phil LaFon and Doug Furness down to ECW, they could be working together. They should be working together, but pro wrestling's going to pro wrestling.
Yep. It's all about politics and the name of the game. It's playing chess match, a little bit of a chess match going on.
Yeah.
It was neat seeing Manser in AEW for a little bit though. He fought Moxley, I think, one night on like a Rampage or something.
I'm a big Manser fan.
Me
man.
too. How do you not love Manser's like probably in my top, like,
Such a throwback,
isn't he? And he's doing great heel work right now too. If you've seen that, he's embracing the heel identity as the GCW champ, and he's great, man. He's so diverse. He's he's likable. He can be hateable. Manser's the best. Hey, people are making some mentions too of some other late 90s memories when it comes to the sports and what was better back then than comparison to now. Masked Sandy says Robin Ventura charging Nolan Ryan worked out well for him. That was good stuff.
and the best part of that, they didn't even throw Nolan Ryan out of the game.
Yeah, right.
Usually, when you brawl like that,
you're out of there, right?
Yeah, they didn't even throw Nolan Ryan out.
Oh man, Coach Rosie also said porn mags were a lot better back then. I would agree with that. I would think, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They had a bit much more of a mainstream vibe for sure.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Let me see what else is here. Now I did. There was one more I thought asked me. Let me see. Maybe I'm wrong. Oh, I think Maddie had one. It was, what did you think of? I think it was the Brock Lesnar versus Eddie Guerrero promo. Oh yeah, Eddie versus Brock promo. Do you remember that one?
Don't remember, but that was a hell of a match.
Right
at the Cow Palace.
Man.
Yeah. And Brock did the right business too, you know.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
100%.
Brock's always about the business, but that was amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, Brock. That's what I love so much about Brock too. Is like you look at that match he had with Daniel Bryan, and it was such a weird position at the time because Daniel Bryan was a heel. Yeah. It was a Survivor Series. He was a heel, and Brock was almost like kind of the baby face, I guess. But like Brock sold great for Daniel Bryan. It was awesome. It was one of the best matches, and it was just such a weird dynamic because of the situations they were both in. But,
yeah, things are done right.
Mm-hmm. You know? Yeah. That's what's great about Brock. He's not afraid to do the business right. So, cool. Meanie, I almost called you Robert, my other co-host.
Okay.
What do you want to plug? Yeah, what's cooking here?
So normally this is where, you know, Adam throws to me and I go, if you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Blue Sky, at Blue Meanie BWO on all forms of social media. If you would like to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. Right now we're having a Black Friday sale, so get in there, get yourself a BWO shirt. MadCatBeardCare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm. Shout out to my boy Josh Thornton, who's doing an amazing job over there. He rounds up the kitty cats, takes them to the vet, and sends them back out better than he found them. So if you want to look good and smell good, if you're a bearded fellow like myself, get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil and Balm over there at Mad Cat Beard Care. The Ultra Pro Wrestling game coming out to all major consoles in 2025. They just had a signing this week. I kind of helped get together, but I can't spoil it yet because they haven't announced it yet. So some really cool names coming to Ultra Pro Wrestling. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters by the amazing Hal Haney, but many real world wrestlers, including many others. I'm trying not to spoil, as I just said. For more information, go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. That's ultraprowrestling.com or UPW Video Game. The figure collections Bone Crushing Wrestler Series 1s of the Blue Meanie are available right now. All Series 1s can be ordered now at shop.figurecollections.com. Type Blue Meanie in the search bar. Pick normal Blue Meanie, whatever your definition of normal is, or BWO Blue Meanie. Either way, there's no wrong choices. So go over to shop.figurecollections.com. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net. That's podstrz.net. Register your podcast, book the Blue Guy, and we'll have a conversation over there at podstars.net. And finally, cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for birthdays, holidays, and well wishes. Book through the site. Don't book through the app. The app takes too much of your hard-earned money. I I got 2 in the chamber I got to do, right after the show. They're a lot of fun to do. Let's make somebody's day a lot more happier and brighter over there at cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. But most importantly, not Mr. Bernard, Mr. Dominic. Where can people find you, sir?
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at Dominic DeAngelo. You can also find me on Instagram if you like. I post a lot of thirst traps on there where I'm at the gym, or I post pictures of my cat. You can go at dom.d'angelo and check those out. Additionally, hey, speaking of Black Friday sales, Beanie is part of the One True Sport umbrella,
Yes.
and we have a Black Friday sale going on with this very t-shirt. You can get it right now. I made a Steely Dan reference. When Black Friday comes in the graphic, you get 20% off site-wide. You can get that one-of-a-kind Blue Meanie Blue World Order t-shirt.
Blue World Disorder.
Disorder, yes.
Yeah.
So use code Black Friday at 1tsport.com. Check out everything we got going on there.
Great shirts over there, especially the Bruiser Brody.
Oh my, they're awesome looking. They're awesome. We
that's
just
good
got Paul Orndorff too over there. We're working on somebody else that I want to reveal at some point. We have to make one more t-shirt for them before we make the announcement reveal for them.
Nice.
But yeah, really good name. Really good name.
Proud of you guys, man.
Thanks. It's been a lot of fun. And this has been a lot of fun, Meanie. We'll have to cross over again at some point here.
This is like, well, here I'm going to date myself with this reference.
I'm ready.
It's like when the show Emergency did things with Adam 12 back in the 60s.
Whoa, okay.
That
one's over my head. I remember hearing the name Emergency of a show.
There's a show called a fireman show called Emergency, and then there's the police show Adam 12.
Oh,
and they characters made cross appearances on the shows, and even though that show was in the 60s and 70s, I would later see the reruns. So I'm not that old, but I'm old.
Well, I appreciate it because I'm an old soul.
I appreciate you, sir. Thank you for coming in on such short notice.
It's been a pleasure, Meanie. It's been a pleasure. And is it a boy or a girl? We don't know. The gender reveals colors. We're gonna let you guys decide. Meanie, is there a certain way you guys sign off here? Besides the
there should be a video.
I got the video.
Yeah, that's all you gotta do. You gotta say your plugs, and see you next
Hey, you, don't be blue. We'll see you next week on Mind of the Meanie. Huh? Is that pretty good? How about that? Yeah.
Blue World Order. Blue World Order. This episode